you?
I'm really good. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Chillin with Adam. Who is Adam? He's my 27-year-old son who transitioned in January 2011 as a result of injuries sustained in a car accident. Adam began communicating with me while his body was still on life support, and he has not yet stopped. So good morning. Hi, Adam.
He's going, hey, Mama, I love you guys. I love you too.
Love you too. You know, we had such an amazing visit with Marilyn Monroe. I mean, Emma, you were the embodiment of Marilyn. She just fit right in there. And I'm just telling you, I miss girlfriend. We invited her back today with her very, very dear friend, Clark Gable.
Yeah, she's she's going, hello again.
Hi, hon. I was just watching your movie, The Misfits, this morning to get in the mood for our visit. Oh, gosh, what a charming, sweet, funny movie.
She's saying yes, and the ironic part is about that is that it was Clark's last movie, and it was also my last finished movie. So we kind of ended together on that movie.
Oh, well, I'm getting goosies. You know, I was searching Netflix today saying, what should I look for? And, you know, Misfits just offered itself up. So, yeah, how perfect is that?
She's saying, you know, when we look at there's a lot of similarities that we had. And although I did a little
you know, Marilyn,
don't tell her.
You're blipping out. Whatever you just said, Emma's image is really blurry, and all of that last piece is garbled. I couldn't understand a word of it. So, darling, would you mind saying it for us again so we don't miss it?
She said that they had similarities in life, and she said, you know, I had a little bit of a crush on Clark.
I can see why.
She said, well, I can't help it. I had a thing for older men. you know, they made me feel safe. They made me feel secure.
Sure.
But just clarify something up.
Okay.
Let's just say he was not interested in me at all.
Okay.
He was not interested in me at all. And Clark is saying, he's going, hello, Cindy.
Hi,
it's
Clark.
Really nice to meet you.
It's really nice to meet you, too. I really like your gentlemanly energy.
I appreciate that. He's a lot slower in his talking is what it feels like. His energy is so much, it's calmer. Marilyn's very like, ah! and he's more zen-y, like.
Yeah.
He's saying, let me just clarify something up. He said, I did really admire Marilyn, and I knew the struggles that she was going through with the movie companies, basically. And I think that in that aspect, we encountered similar problems. I want to make something clear to people. He says, okay. A lot of people see, the stars from our generation. They think it's all glitz and glam and it's all perfect and this and that. And being an actor was the greatest job in the world, but unfortunately it wasn't.
Right.
You signed a contract with a company. They owned you. You were their property, and they could do and make you do things you didn't want to do, and they could really ruin somebody's life. For instance, a lot of female actresses, they would get punished for becoming pregnant, or for hanging out with the wrong men, or for not being pretty enough when they walked outside their door. If the owners of the studios would see pictures in magazines where you weren't that pretty, you would get fined or you would get punished, and that would go all the way from money fines, and all the way to getting crappy parts, or even lending you movie making companies, that were a lot lower grade, that were not that great, that were not that successful, just as a punishment. So there's a lot more than the glitz and the glam that we had to deal with, and I think a lot of people underestimate that. Now,
wow.
Marilyn was definitely that. That is why she eventually broke contract and went on her own. And I did a similarity. I started my own company as well. It didn't go as well as I had planned, but I was laid off. Believe it or not, laid off.
Really, you were laid off. Amazing. Why?
Laid off because the company had gone into financial crisis due to bad management.
Okay.
And a lot of high-paying actors and actresses like me, Judy Garland was also another one who got fired. We got fired because we cost too much money and they needed to cut budget somewhere. Okay. So they basically replaced us with a younger cast who was not that expensive. And they could do things like that. Like you were not allowed to break a contract, but they could just fire you on the spot whenever they felt like it. So there was a lot of almost freedom that's been taken away from me. There was a lot of feeling of being owned by somebody, not having a choice in the roles that you were getting.
Wow.
Things like that. So I think that is just something that I wanted to clear up.
So there was no creativity or self-expression involved with all that. You did not get to be who you were and share your true self with the world. You had to be who and what they told you to be. That's really, really unbelievable.
Exactly. And even in your personal life, especially women, they had to be groomed. They had to be just as perfect as they were on screen. They had to be the same way when they left their home, because they knew paparazzi was going to be there. Always had to be a star. The stars were not allowed to be depressed. You were not allowed to just hang out and have a cool day. It just wasn't allowed. And that would even say in your contract, those were obligations that you needed to hold on to. Also, for instance, women, and I feel really bad for women in our days, because they would say you are not allowed to weigh more than this. They would measure them, they would weigh them, they would get criticized on their looks, on their weight, on their hair. Everything was criticized, and it took a really strong woman to to overcome these things. And a lot of actresses did take their life, and people don't understand, well, they have everything, but that's because, they also take away everything that you are. They take away your freedom, and they take away your
identity.
Your right. Yeah.
Just totally took away who you are.
Exactly. And so I just wanted to clear that up, because even to this day, this still happens. It's not as bad as it used to be, because now a lot of actors and actresses are solo. They got their own manager, and they don't really, companies don't really own them anymore. Mm-hmm. However, they are still being criticized. They're still being judged on their looks, and on what they do in their personal life. So it is still a factor to this day. So don't glamorize being famous, and don't put it up. Don't make it as perfect in your mind as it really is, because it is far from it. And for that, I really admired Marilyn because she is one of those actresses who eventually said, you know what? I'm done with these roles because they were giving her roles that she didn't like. She didn't want to be put in a box of being the dumb blonde. She wanted to do more dramatic roles. She wanted to show people what she could do, and they wouldn't allow her to. So what she did was she said, you know what, then I'm leaving. If you can't give me what I want, I'm going to leave. And she went and trained on herself, and she went and looked for in her and who did support her. And for that, I always praised her for that. So we did stay close after that. And I did support her in every move that she made because I knew how important it was to her. Another thing I want to emphasize is that I want to tell people, don't make my mistake. And my mistake was above love and family.
You blipped out. You blipped out. You put what above love and family?
I put career and fame above family and love. He's going, that was a mistake. When looking back at my life, I know that everything happens for a reason, but a lot of the things that did happen to me were really a result of me denying what I was really feeling. Out of fear of losing stability, out of fear of losing the fame. I did deny a lot of things, and even my own daughter. I did deny her existence, and I wish I didn't have. I wish I didn't have done that. He says, I've loved a lot of women. He says, there's nothing wrong with that, people. I like to share my love. However, I wish I could have had that family, come home, come see the kids, that family that we all dream about. And I never did. I never had it. And that is something that I really regret. And that is something that I made up in another life. I made that up, he says.
So are you on this timeline now?
In this timeline right now, yes. I have a wonderful family and I have 5 children.
Really? Do you want to tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're doing, what your soul contract is this time?
He says, well, at this moment, I am in Norway, and I am a mother of 5, and I love it. I love it. I love being a stay-at-home mom. I love being able to provide for everybody and taking care of everyone. And we have a really good, close family. My husband works very hard, so he's not home so much. But we make it work with the children. We are each other's support. And when he is home, we really enjoy every minute that we are together. So really a life I can't complain, because although it's heavy, it's a lot of work, especially when they were younger. They've grown up now, but especially when they were younger, boy, did I sweat. Did I sweat taking care of those children. But, looking back at it, it really was worth every tear and every sweat drop. He says.
That's so amazing.
I'm really happy with my life. My life as Clark was, let's just say that it was interesting looking back at it from a spiritual perspective. When you get your life's review, you do get kind of a feeling of amazement, how many people you really influence in a lifetime. I had no idea that we really connect to so many people, even if it's only me saying hello to a fan. that totally impacted her, her life. It really made her so much happier. And it's incredible what we can do with just taking time for each other, just having a minute, just having a conversation with a person who adores you and who loves you. So that I was really amazed at, because when I went through life, I'm not going to say it was all bad. It really wasn't. I do believe that I was very fortunate that I could do what I loved doing. And I was surrounded by a lot of beautiful women, but I also used women, and that is a part of my life that I'm not so proud of. He's going, my first wife, he's going, bless her heart. She really got me established as an actor. And I did marry her because I knew she had connections. I knew she had ways of getting into that world. She was my teacher, he says. She would teach him acting classes.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the one who gave me the Clark Gable look, because believe it or not, I was not the most handsome man that you guys remember. My teeth were all screwed up. I just didn't look very well. I was not well groomed, and she took care of that. She fixed my teeth. She gave me a new look. She made me all gentleman-like. So she really created Clark Gable, and I've always been very appreciative for that, because she is the one who made the persona of Clark, who made that celebrity. And so I've always had love in my heart for her, although as I became more indulged into that little world, I was still doing a lot of side roles, and I was still doing a lot of little parts that really didn't mean much, but I was already going into this world. I did sleep around with a lot of women, and I picked the wealthy ones because I knew that I needed money in order to get to where I needed to be. So that's a part of myself that as a human, from my human perspective, I was not so proud of while I was alive. Now I understand that it needed to take me to places. I understand that. But during my lifetime, I always regretted that I needed to use women in order to get somewhere.
Or you thought you
So
needed to use women.
I did. I thought that was the only way to get there.
Yeah.
And so I did use it and abuse it. And so eventually I moved on to wife number two, who was a very wealthy lady. She had a lot of money and a lot of connections. And again, she helped me. He's going, I just think it's incredible how I always needed a woman to do, to help me. And I am such an admirer of women, because they are so much stronger than we are men. I'm sorry, guys, but they really are. They have an insight, and they have a persistence, and an endurance that we just don't have. It's just not there. And women can get to where they need to get with just pure willpower. We give up easily, and then we kind of use mother figures to get us there. So, I just wanted to say that I do appreciate and I really admire the female gender, he says, because they're just unbelievably strong and powerful. So for all you women out there, believe in your strength, because you guys can do more than what you really think you can. So yeah, I got married a second time. Again, more out of comfort than out of love. he's saying something happened during my second marriage, uh, not with my wife, didn't have anything to do with that. Um, but I did a movie, he says, with a very beautiful, smart, intelligent, strong woman called Jean Harlow.
Yes.
I did several. We'll just say it that way. I did several, but the last movie we made really broke me. It really made me go into a depression, not because of her, but because of what had happened to her. So she had become ill during the filming of our last movie together.
Do you mind saying what movie that was? And if it doesn't come easily, forget it. You know, we can look that up. Never mind.
Saratoga, something like that.
Okay.
He says she got really ill. They wanted to keep filming. They really, she was afraid of getting fined. She was afraid of getting fired. So they kept filming, and she eventually collapsed in my arms while we were filming. And she was rushed to the hospital. And they gave her a diagnosis and they gave her medicine, but it was the wrong diagnosis. And the medicine that they had given her actually had made her situation worse. And she slipped into a coma and she died. So we never got to finish the movie. And I never got to say goodbye to her. And I really got angry with the way that the studios handled it, with the way that they still finished the movie without her, which I thought was not right. But they did it anyway with doubles. But it did something to me. That loss, we were really good friends. We were really close. We had been in 6 movies. It was really, I was heartbroken. And it really, it brought me down. It brought me into a depression. And because of that, my body suffered from that as well. And so I became ill after that as well. And as he says, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, so this might be a premiere to people. I actually got a severe infection in my gums.
Really?
And all his teeth needed to be pulled.
Oh, gosh, how painful.
And he says, so after that, I always had fake dentures in, and not a lot of people knew that, but almost my whole career, I had grandpa teeth in. Luckily, nobody could notice, he says. Right. But because I became ill and I missed out on opportunities and I missed out on certain filming days, they basically they lent me out to Columbia Pictures, which was then like a second rank kind of studio. They didn't produce that great of movies, so it was kind of like a step down, and that was their punishment for me for becoming ill. I mean, that is how extreme it goes.
Who was they? Do you mind naming the infamous they that were such assholes? Who were they?
MGM.
That's what I thought. I mean, seriously. Imagine what they did to Jean. Had no compassion for her situation. They could have saved her life. Instead, she was indispensable, and then they totally dishonored her by going on with the show. Really sorry to hear that. Okay, enough for the assholes. I'm sorry, Mr. Gable. Go back to your story.
He's saying that's okay, But yeah, so he had to go to Columbia Pictures, and he had to make a movie that, God, when I got that script, I thought, this is the biggest bollocks I've ever read. It was just crap. But I had to do it. I was obligated to do it, and so we did it.
And what was it? People are going to want to know.
He's saying It Happened One Night.
Okay.
Was the name of the movie. And he's saying, it was the biggest load of crap I had ever read. And then guess what happened next? People apparently didn't think so, and I won an Academy Award for it. So I am the only person who probably won an award for doing a crappy ass movie. At least I thought it was crap, and so did my co-actors. They all thought this is just crap. There's nothing there. But people loved it and people adored it, and to this day I still don't understand why. But I got the one and only Academy Award was for the shittiest movie I made. So figure that one out.
Well,
and
Clark, as a whole, we people have developed a habit of doing things that would absolutely blow your mind in terms of what we as a collective decide to do together. I think you can see that we've just collectively lost our minds.
That's got to be. I still can't figure that one out.
I don't know how to explain some things.
Just laughing. Adam's holding an Oscar, and he's like standing in front of a stage in my mind, and he's going, thank you for this crappy bullshit movie. I still adore you. He's just goofing off.
That is so something Adam would do. Well, something he is doing. As in life, he is in death.
He's just going, thank you, and he's just pulling weird faces. I don't even know how to do it, but it's really funny. A little bit like Jim Carrey. You know how Jim can?
Oh yes, he's got a rubber face, like in The Mask.
That's what he's doing. He's, for this shitty ass award and this shitty ass movie. So he's just making fun.
I say thank you for sharing that story. That was so great.
Marilyn is going, he is so funny. I just love your boy.
Would you mind sharing with us how your visit went with him? After you visited us last time, you invited him to come home and meet some friends. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Can the two of you share who Adam met and how that went? Give us a peek.
Okay, well, Marilyn is saying, well, he was a real gentleman, and he really guided me. First to his friends. We met some singers, she says, who were really talented. And then I took him to some of my friends. She's talking about Judy Garland and somebody called Lauren
Bacall.
Right?
Oh, Adam, how lucky are you?
And Gene Kelly. And Fred Astaire stopped by, but not very long.
Adam loves to dance. Did you get to dance with Gene and Fred? Gene Kelly's a man.
Adam is saying, Mom, not with Fred Astaire, but I did get to get some tips from Gene Kelly. And his tip was, just let it all loose. Don't give a shit what the rules are. Just do what you feel is right and just jiggy with it.
Get jiggy with it? I'm going to try that tonight.
Just jiggy with it was his advice. He says, that was the difference between, Adam's going, I love musicals. He's going, that was the difference between Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. Was the more technical dancer. Everything was technically perfect. However, I was a little bit more of a fan to Gene Kelly because Gene danced with heart. He danced his heart out. Whenever he did it, when he did Singing in the Rain, Mom, he was sick. He had the flu. He had a fever, and he still did it. He did that scene. Mom, he shared his life with me, and he I felt horrible while I was dancing that scene. And guess what? They took it, they did the whole scene, the singing scene in one take, and then went home and went to bed because he had such a high fever.
That's
Incredible person.
brilliant. I love it.
He's going, Mom, this guy, he did what he did with such love and passion that not even the flu could stop him. He'd be like, I'm doing this and then I'm going to bed.
I tell you what, I'd love to have your friend Gene come and hang with us. Can we invite Gene right now to his own episode?
Let's give him a show of himself.
Okay.
He's got so many great stories. Okay. His life was incredible, and I would love to give a sneak peek into the brilliance that he just was, the brilliance that he still is.
You're next, Gene. Up next.
Yay. I can hear Gene going, see you next time.
All right. And I'm going to get jiggy with it in the meantime.
I know. And Marilyn is going, I used to love dancing, and I still do, but it's so much different without the body. You don't have the swaying. I used to love my dress. The feeling of the dress.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And it made me feel like royalty. Yeah. I used to love having these big dresses, and when I twirled, I would always imagine me being a princess, I know a lot of people think I might be crazy, but I really did. It makes you feel so beautiful and elegant.
Absolutely.
And so I remember dancing, and I had my sexy dance too, she says. I had my sexy dance.
Oh, yes.
Some of those too. I knew how to wrap a man around my finger. I
saw you dancing. I think it was with Montgomery Clift and the Misfits. That poor man, he was helpless. It was like salt on a snail as soon as you started whispering in his ear.
She's going, I had that effect on men.
Oh my gosh.
That I had.
I was melting a bit myself, honey.
I've never seen any of her movies. I really need to start looking. I've never seen them because my parents didn't like the classics, because my mom would always say, oh, those women, they're so fake, and she didn't like the whole please save me. She didn't like that part, and my dad just didn't like the singing. So I never grew up with them, and I know I need to start. So Marilyn, I am making a promise. Clark, whoever we've interviewed from those movie times, I promise I will look into your movies and see who you really, how you guys were when you performed, because I really need to do that.
So that speaks to how intuitive Carolyn is. Your mom picked up on the fact that it was all fake. I mean, they just basically said, folks, that was all fake. That wasn't us. Right? So she's so right.
It is. Yeah. It was just... And Marilyn says, movies back then, the characters that we portrayed, we had to continue into our daily life. Right. And so people got the wrong idea on what it means to be sophisticated. Yeah. Right? Because most people were not like that. Okay. Most people were just trying to hang in there, trying to survive this world.
Right.
And, to this day, she says, it's still like that. We still look up to these celebrities and stars, and all we see is how perfect they are, and how they have everything, and how they have the greatest lovers and the most beautiful men or the most beautiful women. And, it is all a charade, people. It is all a charade. Most of the actors or actresses or addicted, or they can't handle the pressure that's being put on them. They're not allowed to be themselves. They're not allowed to make mistakes, because every little mistake is highlighted, and they are judged for it, and they are brought down for it. And we need to stop doing that. We need to stop idolizing people. That is one thing, but we also need to give these celebrities space a private life. We need to give them the chance to just have a normal life besides their job. And that is something that right now, and even back then, we had magazines just like now who would prey on on us, on getting a glimpse of something. Tons of money off of these pictures, and that's what's happening now. It's a multi-dollar business. It's a multi-million-dollar business getting pictures of celebrities, of their private life and of their affairs and whatever else they want to stick up on there with a label. But what people don't understand is, by buying these magazines where all this crap is in, we are supporting that. We are funding basically the rape of people's private life. We are funding that. And I really wish that would stop, and everybody would be respectful in giving people their privacy. It doesn't matter whether you are a public figure or just the mailman. Everybody has a right to their privacy when it comes to their personal life, and we should all find a way to not give in to all the gossip that goes around, because I can guarantee you 80% of what is in magazines and tabloids, it is not real, it is fake, or it is half-ass information where they don't have all the facts. So let's do that for everyone's sake. Stop idolizing people, but instead idolize yourself in every way, and you can achieve a joy and stability and whatever it is that you want just by idolizing yourself, just by knowing that you are great and that there is no difference between you and celebrities. We're all human, we all make mistakes, and we're all here to learn and to grow, and we do our jobs. You do your job, we do our job. That there's no difference between us and you and us. We're all the same. So I wish people would love themselves as much as they love their celebrities, and we would look at a completely different world, she says.
I love that message. The best way to honor your favorite celebrity, instead of invading their privacy, which is essentially what you're doing when you read stuff about them anywhere, Facebook, anywhere, is to just respect them by honoring their work. Buy a ticket to their movie, pay for their music.
Right. Pay for their music.
Buy the book
in that way. Yeah, support them in that way. And if they do meetings, or they, you can come and see them, then tell them how much they mean to you, but don't give in on gossip. Don't give in on really bringing people down by taking away their freedom.
Celebrities are people too. Above all else, they are human beings, and who deserve maybe even more compassion than other people, because for heaven's sakes, their lives are transparent for all the world to see. And the bottom line is, they do not have to share themselves with you. They don't. It's a choice they make, and they shouldn't have to feel like they have sacrificed every ounce of privacy because they choose to do that. So really, thank you for that. It makes me feel proud of myself for not bothering Bonnie Raitt with a hello when we stayed in the same hotel. It was, we had...
It's okay, Cindy. She says a hello is always okay. That means that you are seeing her and you're appreciating her. However, stalking a person, now that's a whole other ball game. Yeah. Now, a lot of people think that this only happens to big celebrities, but Emmanuel, no, don't use me.
You're getting big, honey.
Oh my God. Okay, I'll let her talk.
Okay.
She's saying, yeah, let me talk. Don't worry, I got your back. She's saying, okay, well, Emmanuel, she is just a medium. But she is also getting judged for what she does. And so part of her journey as a medium, as Emmanuel, is also to learn to not allow that to affect her in any way, because she also gets hate mail. She gets mails where people tell her she's the devil, she should be hung, she should be shot. So there are a lot of downfalls to just putting your face, and we are just on YouTube, but you can already tell what an effect all this negativity has on other people. And I want to express that people who do things like that to other people either do it out of jealousy because they are not allowed or cannot do it, or at least they think they can't do it, or it's really because they are not feeling good about themselves, and they really just need to lash out to somebody. They want to blame everybody for everybody's problem. Now, what Emmanuel is learning from this is that even though she gets these mails, that she still finds a way to send them love and healing. That is something that she's doing at this moment, is learning to not let it affect her, and to just say, you know what, these people are not in the right state of mind. They're not feeling good. So all I can do is send them love and healing and just take distance from it. So she's doing really great, and we are helping her. There's so many celebrities around her. She doesn't even know half of them. What? Okay, well, then
I'm
you
so
guys
excited.
me in on those.
Freddie,
Well,
you said you feel Freddie around you, so Freddie's
Freddie, I have
one.
Freddie around a lot, and he's always there because I get worried, about not being almost like I'm worried that I'm going to lose myself in these celebrities and these spirits. I don't know. It's kind of like a fear, like when there's too many celebrities and spirits come in, I sometimes worry that I'm going to lose who I am, and I'm going to just absorb their energy. I know it's a stupid fear that I have. I don't know where it's coming from. We're still working on that one. Adam and Eric are helping me with removing that fear, because they're saying that it's something from another life that I've carried into this. But Freddie, hi, Cindy.
Hi, Freddie. God, I love you.
He's good. He's good. I love you, my love. Mwah, mwah. He's saying, well, I help her with just staying true to herself, to not change who she is to please people, because she is a little bit of a people pleaser, and in this job she's not allowed to be that way. She needs to be completely neutral and just stay true to who she is, and as long as she does that, then she'll always get straightforward messages. She'll get the unfiltered version of what we're saying. And so it's really important to her. And so that's why I stick around her a lot. David Bowie just walked in. I hear David on occasion, not as much as Freddie. David, hello, David.
Hi, David. Cousin David. We both Joneses.
Yeah. He's saying, hello, Cindy.
Hello, David. I have a new friend named David who's also from the UK.
Oh, really? He's saying, dear Cindy.
Aww.
He's saying, dear Cindy, you are so beautiful. Every day I see you.
Okay, salt on a snail. I'm gone now.
I think he's just congratulating both of us on how wonderful we look. And he's saying, I don't mean that with just the appearance. I mean from the inside out. You guys are, and I want to know that every person out there, you guys are diamonds inside, shiny, bright, and full of light. So just keep that in your heart and keep that in your mind, that you are always shining. He's saying, I help Emmanuel with finding a way to really press forward the messages and the understanding of life. What I mean by that is that she She's here to teach people. She's here to take people on a journey. And so it's not all about the channeling, but she's
Right.
really a teacher in heart. And everything she has learned so far in her lifetime are lessons to be taught to others.
They are.
And so I am here to make sure that, that she does that in her own way, and um, she doesn't allow herself to put all her eggs in one basket. She needs to spread them out and reach the world. Oh,
I love
no,
that. This is,
I'm gonna cry.
well, you know what? Let's just take this opportunity because you are doing something new and different on your own. And you shared one of them with me yesterday, and I had an opportunity to use it immediately to help two grieving mothers. You have started doing something that you call Rolling with Eric, and they're messages from Eric Madus. You did one about grief yesterday, and I had been talking with a couple of mothers, and I shared it with them, and it immediately lifted their hearts. So bravo to you. One of our subscribers asked me recently, does Emmanuel have a YouTube channel? And I thought, geez, I'm not sure. I checked, and you do. So if somebody wants to see all of your videos, you do work with Alyssa Madus and her son Eric Madus, as well as with me, Cindy Williams Adams, and my son Adam Hamel. But you also have things you do on your own in addition to your Learn It Live classes. So, tell a little bit about what you do and how people can access it.
Well, I teach. I give classes on learnitlive.com where I teach live classes. I have a mediumship class going on right now. We already had the beginners class, so now we're going to have the intermediate class. But there's also classes on there on how to meditate. There's classes. There's a class about autism. As a mother of two autistic children, me and Eric and Adam, he was there as well, but it was mostly Eric who did the talking, did a class on trying to explain the mind of an autistic child, of an autistic person, on how they see the world, how you can help them, how you can help yourself in finding love and acceptance and happiness that your children have autism, because it's really hard as a parent to see just how perfect they really are. All we see is flaws. And I've always, for me personally, I always refused to see my children as flawed or as different, but I saw them as unique and important. And Eric always calls them, they are the next evolution in humankind. So we talk a little bit about that in that class. We also talk about how to deal with the meltdowns that they have. People call them tantrums, but they're not tantrums. They are meltdowns. There's a difference. I explained the difference between that. And yeah, there's a lot of information there. And I think it helps a lot of parents in seeing how beautiful it really is, this journey that they've picked together, because there's so much to learn from each other. So definitely, if you have anybody, or anybody with autism, or you're working with autistic children, just like you did, Cindy, it's really great to hear the insights and why it happens and what's the contract behind it, and how can we handle them differently so it's beneficial for both parties. And there's also Ask Eric videos on there of people who've send in a question, and a lot of the questions, I think, there's a lot of people going through similar things, so it's always great to check those out, because it might just help you as well. And then I have my Rolling with Eric videos. This was Eric's idea. He wanted to do something just with me. And what I do is I call it a semi-trance channel. He basically gets into my body, but I'm still present. I'm still there. And I just allow him to talk through me freely over whatever he wants to talk about in that moment. So I think a lot of them are beneficial to get some insight in certain emotions, but to also get some insight. I know one of them he really wanted to talk to was about the refugee crisis. So I know there's one of that on there, and he's got some great ideas. He's already made me make a whole list of everything he wants to talk about, and he wants to do some funny ones, and there's going to be some serious ones. So there's still lots more to come for that. And then you can always reach me on my website, emmanuelmcintosh.com. I'm not taking any appointments at this moment because I am fully booked till almost August of next year.
Well, could that be something that we might be able to help with? Emma and I have been talking about me creating a Facebook page for our subscribers here at Chillin with Adam so that Emma and I can start doing some Facebook Live. Maybe using one of our sessions a month to do a Facebook Live to interact with folks who have personal questions, or if there's something you want to know about Adam, or whatever you want to ask, just make ourselves available for people to interact and ask questions. So if that is something that folks are interested in, if you would be interested in a Chillin' with Adam Facebook page in which we can do Facebook Live, and who knows what else it might evolve into. I love the organic method of creating. Just be open to bringing forth whatever needs to evolve in terms of what the people need, and we'll do it. So, if that's something you're interested in, let us know. And so for people who really, really want to talk with you, Emma, who, basically you can still schedule an appointment with Emma, because the bottom line is that amount of time is going to go by. She may be booked through August, but you know what? August is going to come, and then there's going to be September. So the only question is whether you have an appointment with Emma in September. So don't let the waiting list get in the way.
It goes real fast because I have people now who made an appointment in January and they thought, oh my God, so long. And they're like, oh my God, this went really faster than I thought. So, and I will be taking new appointments in December.
Okay.
I will be making new appointments then. And I also have an Ask Eric. And maybe we can do an Ask Adam. I don't know. If people want to do that, let me know, or let Cindy know.
Well, that's what I was thinking. We will do an Ask Adam, but I think it would be fun to do it live.
Right. That would be cool. So,
who knows where it'll go. Just let us know what you want.
Otherwise, there is also the Ask Eric column where you can. I do questions once a month, where you can also go to my website and order a question. And send me through your questions. So yeah, let Cindy know what you guys would like us to do. And Adam is going, yeah, we want to hear from you guys. We're just here to show up and to, and to share experiences and life lessons, and just to help you guys out in figuring out this life, this whole stage that you chose for yourself. So yeah, let my mom know. He says, on what do you guys, where do you want to take this? What do you want to do? What would you like to see us doing, or who would you like us to interview?
I tell you what, I have been compiling a list because folks have been making suggestions. And what I do is we put it out there right then and there, that this person is invited to come forward. So how about this, Emma? I will send you the list and let Adam start lining them up. So maybe we can tell you, instead of who's up next, we can say who's on deck and who's in the hole.
He's saying, my human ego is kind of loving the fact that I get to say, hey, I want you on my show.
It's amazing. I don't think I ever shared this on our show, but I learned within weeks of our very first episode of Chillin' with Adam that when Adam was 19, he told his girlfriend that he was going to have a short life, and he had been telling me this since he was a child. But at the age of 19, he went on to describe the afterlife in which he was with a bunch of celebrities, and they were sitting around a table, and they were all there to see Adam. So, who knows? Maybe these are the celebrities that are on Chillin' with Adam. Can you tell me how that piece fits in? Do you remember telling Jennifer when you were 19 about you being with celebrities?
He's saying, yes, I remember it. And it is something that I always carried with me since I was wee little. I always had this image of me sitting there being surrounded by famous people. And so it was just, remember, Mom, how we talked about how sensitive I was and how I really couldn't align with the energies of our world? And that was because my energy was so high that I just couldn't get to the lower frequencies that I was supposed to get in order for me to feel comfortable.
You were never grounded.
No, I just couldn't because I was floating. I was somewhere else. I was in a different frequency, and I always, I don't want to say I had visions or I had premonitions. It was a knowing. I knew that my life on earth as Adam would be short, but I knew it was going to be important. I knew that whatever I was going to do, whether it was in my alive form or whether it was in my spirit form, I knew that I was meant or destined to help people. I was destined to share information. I was destined to guide people in some way or form. Now, I always thought it was going to be in my human existence, and I was going to use music and lyrics and poetry and whatever creative flair I had at that time. I always thought it was going to be that. And I knew that when I passed, I would hang out with celebrities. That was just a knowing for me. That's why I always looked up to them too. I had this connection. But once I passed, that's when the understanding hit me, when it was like, yeah, this way I can do so much more. And all the things I wanted to do, I can now do, I can now achieve. But I also knew that I needed your help to do that. And that's why as soon as I was in that accident, I reached out to you because I needed you on this journey. I needed you to be, he's going, my conduit. Is that a word? I don't even know what that means.
Absolutely. It's like a straw. It's what something comes through.
Oh, okay. So that's what the word he's using. He needed,
channel.
Yeah, he's saying, we're like Laurel and Hardy, he says. We're kind of like Beavis and Butthead.
Can I be Beavis? I don't think I want to be Butthead. It's something about the name.
He's like, fine, that's fine by me.
Can we be Ren and Stimpy? I like their dancing better.
He's cracking up right now.
He loved those guys in SpongeBob. Adam was a huge fan of cartoons.
He's going, yeah, but looking back at it now, man, that cartoon was screwed up. Nothing in that cartoon was logic, he says. He's also talking about Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, yes. Now that one is a trip.
He says, now I am going to conquer the world, Pinky. That's what he's saying.
Well, you want to hear something crazy? I was watching Despicable Me by myself the morning I found out about Adam's accident. And I learned later that was no accident, that he literally had arranged for me to be watching that movie so that my vibes could be as high as possible when I got the news. And right. I know that had everything to do with the way I handled it. Plus that, I felt the soul contract kick in as strongly as if I had been kicked in the back of the head by a donkey.
Right. And everybody who's watching this, you guys should check out Cindy and me, who went to the Joyride show, where Cindy shares her emotional journey when Adam was in the hospital and when she had to let him go physically. It's really a heartfelt, incredible, inspiring story, I think, how you can handle the transition of a person in kind of a very different way. So I would definitely recommend everybody to check that out. I'm pretty sure it's on your YouTube channel.
It's on my YouTube channel, but also anybody who enjoys what we're doing, you will also enjoy the Joyride Show with the Metaphysical Moms. So that is another YouTube channel you should subscribe to. They
are incredible.
Are incredible. Any topic of interest under the realm of metaphysical, I can tell you there has not been a single show that I have listened to where I haven't learned something amazing. And if it's an author who sells a book or whatever, I think I bought every book. I mean, I'm just saying, if you want a multidimensional metaphysical education, it's free, folks. YouTube is an amazing medium, and the Joyride Show is a great place to go. And besides that, Tiffany and Carrie are just awesome ladies.
They are amazing. They are all both mothers who were just interested in anything metaphysical, and they really have both their unique individual perspective on things, and the way that they kind of pick in on what their guest is saying is really incredible, and they kind of have a critical eye as well. So it's really good to see that they always ask the questions that everybody else would ask.
Absolutely.
That's what's really good about that.
So Marilyn and Clark, are you enjoying this?
They're saying we're just fine. We are just happy.
We kind of went.
But, no. Clark is saying, I mean, we can just say that my life was interesting. I had 5 wives, and I lost one of them in a airplane accident. So there was a lot of grief on that aspect as well. But seeing you guys getting so excited about the afterlife, about the spiritual realms, and about trying to understand this universe and making the best out of your life. That is why we live our lives. That is why we leave these legacies. That's why Marilyn left her legacy. That's why I left my legacy, is all the lives that we lead. We're all intertwined in them. We actually learn from all of them, and not always directly, sometimes on a subconscious level, because whatever every single individual experiences, source experiences, and we are all connected to source. So in a way, we are living everybody's lives right at this moment. And I know that's crazy for a lot of people to imagine that at this moment you are watching this video and you are Clark and you are Marilyn, because we all are one. And so while we living our lives, no matter whether you think it was a success or whether you think it was a failure, it is what it is for a reason. You will have learned from it, but you will have also reached every other individual entity that exists, because we will all have learned from your life experience, just like you guys are learning from our life experience. And I just wanted to share that. It didn't matter whether I had 5 wives or 3 wives or 1. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I learned a lot of lessons from this, and that I've passed them on in some energetic way to you guys. So my biggest lesson was, like I said, it was all about learning not to put fame and fortune and career above love. Unfortunately, I did always choose that. And then because of that mindset, because of that energy that I always sent out, the people that I did love, I lost. I lost fast. So is that a punishment? No, it was just an outcome of my own actions. It was an outcome of my own thought pattern. So choose love over everything. I can guarantee you that a career is not worth it. Yes, do you need to do what you love? Do you need to invest in getting a career that you're passionate about? Yes. because it will bring you self-love and self-achievement. However, there's not one career out there that will bring you the love and the satisfaction of being surrounded by people who love and adore you, and sharing lives together. I always wanted a family. I did have a son, but he was born after my death. I did have a daughter who I ignored her whole life, which I never publicly claimed as my daughter.
Is she still living, Clark?
She's not. She is with me now.
Have you two healed that?
We have, and so has her mom. And she's saying that, okay, so her mom is here, and her mom is Loretta Young.
Oh my gosh, Father knows best. The mother.
She's the mom who also pretended Judy was my daughter. Judy always thought, Judy Lewis was the name of my daughter. Judy always thought that she was adopted by Loretta, and never knew who the father was either. Me and Loretta had to keep it a secret because, again, we put our careers and our fame above all else. He says we were making a movie together. That's when it all happened. We fell in love, or we had what we would call a fling.
Okay.
We did care about one another. However, I was married, and it resulted in a pregnancy. Now, nobody knew Loretta was pregnant, and so when she was about to start showing, she basically said she needed vacation, and she toured around Europe for several months before she came back to the States, had the baby. When the baby was born, this is Loretta now talking. She says, when my baby was born, when she started screaming, I covered her mouth because I didn't want anybody to know that I just had a baby. I hid the baby and when I finally publicly showed her, I told the world that I had adopted her, but she was my own flesh and blood, and Clark was the father. Now, if the studios had found out that all of that had occurred, we would have both been fired. We would have both lost our contracts. And in order to protect that, we didn't. And that was the wrong decision. We made the wrong decision. We let our own daughter believe that she had been adopted, that we didn't know who the parents were until she was an adult. And then it really affected her.
No kidding.
It really affected her immensely. And she had a really hard time trusting people until she started to really result in trying to control things in her life because she didn't want to undergo another disappointment. She felt like she didn't know who she was anymore because we had told her that she was adopted, and so she made up this whole life, and then turned out that she wasn't adopted, that I was her real mother. And so in a way she lost her own identity, and it was never publicly
acknowledged
or announced. I always refused that, even though she had begged me to publicly announce it. Knowing who your ancestors are, and I know this is going to sound weird, he says, but he says knowing who your ancestors are really doesn't define who you are. It is just a genetic passing on of DNA. Family doesn't determine who you are. So, um, and this might just be my spiritual perspective on this. Um, so I just want to let everyone know that they just need to follow their hearts, and follow their own voice. It doesn't matter who I was. It doesn't matter who their mom was or their grandmother was. What matters is who they are, and they need to
Right.
just follow that.
That makes sense. I mean, when you think about the fact about the identity crisis that poor Julie had when she found out, it's almost like the opposite. People have an identity crisis when they find out they were adopted, and now she finds out that she wasn't, and it changed her perspective. So I think what I'm hearing you say is don't allow those kinds of things don't let those influence you in determining who you are. Know your own self and
Right,
your
right.
worth regardless of whose DNA you might carry.
He's saying yes. And, it's not because I don't want to follow my grandchildren or anything like that. He's saying, I do see that the creativity, the creative part of me has been passed on, and the creative part of Loretta, that has been passed on. However, they are not us, and we are not them.
Right.
They're going to create their own identity. And I love everybody in this world. That is, when you, he says, when you get back to being completely 100% connected to source,
Yeah.
identity falls away. Identity falls away. And I know people from our human form, we still want to think that grandma and grandpa are still with us, and they are. But we are also living hundreds of other lives at this moment. And it's all
Yes.
one higher self. So we're no longer individuals once we cross over. We become part of the whole. We're not a fragment, but we are everything. And so that feeling of identity falls away. And the only reason our identity is now coming forward as Marilyn, as Loretta, as Clark, is because you have invited that consciousness forward. And I know that might sound weird to people, but it really is 100% pure love. And when we do step forward as our persona, as our character, it's really like us putting on our costume. The costume of Clark and the costume of Marilyn,
Mm-hmm.
stepping forward, saying hello, getting back into that character, saying hello, saying what we have learned and what our life was all about. But once we step back, once the interview is done, we merge back with our higher self. And the higher self is connected to all the family members and all the friends that you've ever made in every lifetime that you have encountered. So when a person thinks of us, we immediately, our higher self releases that consciousness and immediately puts on that Clark suit, and we're there. Okay, what do you need? What can we help you with?
So are
So
you hearing this, folks? He said, when you think of them, you literally summon their energy. And what I'm trying to tell you is there is no separation. Okay? So if you say, my grandma's here, my grandpa's here, and I mean you could literally be slapping them in the face. We think, here in terms of some etheric place, but there is only one place. Everything is right here. So there literally is no separation between us and them. How do you summon them to you? Think of them, right? He just said it.
yes, he says exactly. Even just a memory, or just calling our name in your mind, or just saying, I love you, Dad, will make your dad say, I love you too. We are immediately, instantly, there's not even a time difference. instantly, sometimes even before the thought occurs, we are already present because we know you're going to think of us. So know that at any moment in time, you can connect with anybody. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, he says, because they think, well, if he is reincarnated, how come they're talking to him in spirit? Well, that is because your higher self is a collective of all the consciousness that you have ever lived. And so whenever you need to connect to that consciousness, that specific consciousness, then your higher self will just release that and say, hey, here I am. What do you want? What do you want to talk about? What should we discuss? So you can be as much in life as much as in death at the same time. Why? Because, well, time doesn't exist. There is no time. So everything is going on in one location, all at the same time, to infinity and beyond, as a character would say. Um, he says, and I know it's so difficult from a human perspective to experience a timeless journey, and to experience a separation. He's gone, no, this is not the way I said it. Sorry. Sorry, Clark, I'm trying. You're getting really technical, so I'm trying to understand it. He says individuality does not exist. It is an illusion that is created so you can experience an individual journey. However, your individual journey is only temporary and will always be rejoined with the whole.
So your individual journey while you're having your human adventure.
Right. That everybody thinks is solely up to them, that everybody thinks is, nobody understands me. You don't know what it feels like to be me. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but the whole universe knows what you're feeling, and the whole universe knows what you're going through, because you are connected to every living source of energy. So everything you're going through, so is source, so is the higher selves, so are all the people who are connected to you in some way or form. So that just proves to you you're never alone, people. You never are.
That's right. And here's another thing. We all come in with our very own crew, our very own team of guides. And because of free will, they are not allowed to interfere. So we may be sitting down here complaining about a certain situation that we might like help with, but guess what? They can't help unless you ask. So don't forget about your own individual crew who came here with you.
Right. And know that they are only here to assist you to get to the lessons you wanted to experience. They are not allowed, or we are not allowed to change anything that you signed into your contract. However, you can change your contract. So if you are not happy with this lifetime, know and understand that this is your journey. You chose it, so you can also change it. And when you do so, let us know, and we will try and help you in getting to your new goals and your new directions.
I love that. Thank you so much, Clark. Any last words from Marilyn and Adam?
Adam is just saying, I love you guys. Don't forget to give us info, what you want, where are we taking this? And he's saying, what can I say? These two brilliant people already said it all. It's all about love. It's all about understanding that you're never separated from anybody or anything, and that you're never alone. So what more can we add to that? Just be as goofy as you can. If people call you crazy, just say thank you, because it's really a compliment. And just know that this is all just a play, just like you're playing a character, only you're really into your part, you're really into your role. But know that at the end of the scene, you're taking off your costume and you're going home and getting a review of your movie and going, well, I think we need to make a new movie with some new with an alternate ending.
That's right. At the end of this life, you don't want to be standing at the pearly gate saying, "Thank you for this shitty Oscar."
There you go. And Marilyn is just saying, she's just she's she just feels very satisfied, and she's just saying, just know that I love every single one of you, and I love you, Cindy, for everything you do, and just know that you can count on us whenever you need us. We're never far away, and we love every single one of you, so don't ever think that we would not come to you because you're not special. Everyone's special, and I love everyone. And so if you need me, just holler my name and I'll be coming running.
Just so you know, I heard that. I heard those little echoes of people saying, "Oh, not me. I'm not special." You too. Every single one of you. Everyone.
Yeah. People think that why would Marilyn Monroe waste her time with these two crazy ladies? Well, you know what? Because they're just as kooky as I am, and I adore them and I love them, and I want people to know that it's not crazy for celebrities to come and talk to everyone, because we're not celebrities anymore. We are now celestial beings who are helping and guiding and assisting this human race and the whole universe into getting to a higher, more enlightened state of mind and a very high vibration. And so we will make sure that every single person has access to that knowledge and that understanding. So there. To all you skeptical people out there, if you want to talk to Jesus, people, you talk to Jesus. He will come. He will hear you. You want to talk to Buddha, you talk to Buddha. You want to talk to Elvis, talk to Elvis, okay? Doesn't matter who it is that you love and adore. If you want their help, you just have to ask. They will never say no. They will never abandon you, because we are all unconditional love, and we are all brothers and sisters. So know that.
I absolutely love that. Thank you, darling.
She says, "You're welcome, honey." She's so
Bye
sweet.
for now, folks. So next time we're going to visit with Jean Kelly, and don't forget to check out Emmanuel's website, www.emmanuelmacintosh.com, and Emma's Facebook channel, and that is under your name, Emmanuel McIntosh. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did I say Facebook channel? I meant YouTube channel.
I have Facebook under my name. I have YouTube under my name. So I'm pretty sure. Just type my name and I'll pop up. There we
go. So I'll edit out that screwed up part, and we'll start over. Don't forget to check out Emma's YouTube channel. Oh shit! I'm gonna need some outtakes. Don't forget to check out.
Write it in. Just write it in. Channel and Emmanuel.
Don't forget to check out Emma's YouTube channel.
You have to save all the bloopers.
This is hilarious. Let me try that one more time. I think Robin Williams has
blooper video. Bloopers.
Here we go. Okay, let me just see if I can try this. Okay, no, wait a second. Whenever the celebrities do this, they have to do some silliness first to get it all out. So here we go. Okay. Don't forget to check out Emma's YouTube channel at, Flip and Flap. It doesn't have a WW.
That's all right. They'll find me. Marilyn is going, breathe, honey, breathe.
Figure out how to find Emma's YouTube channel. That's your homework. See you next time, folks. I give up.
Bye.
Bye, Emma. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye, Adam. Bye, Marilyn and Clark.
Bye.
Bye.